to get caught by Doris. Brought addicted drug users in the house we slept. And sold crack right in front of you. Disrespect. And when my pops left, I took a hot step in the jump. Hennessy, eyes squints, took sip from the cup. Bagging up weed, chopping up cane was the beginning. But being able to feed myself was a given. According to my brothers and friends, we was winning. But still, according to grandma, we was sinning. Sorry, damn. You know, at this time, we really gotta understand. Being surrounded by poverty and violence and parents on drugs and friends' parents on drugs, it was different for us growing up. 1997, chapter 2. I'm sorry, Miss Felby. I was so lost and confused. Even though you and Mr. Jones tried to get through. Shackles on my hands and feet, escorted from school. On the highway for the first time in my life. Broad Street, Hartford detention, a time of my life. I was scared and tough, all at the same time, but not a punk. I had to fight just to eat and survive. 6 months in that cold cell, feeling alone. Just imagine being 11, that far from home. Missing your mom, only hear her voice on the phone. Waiting for court, hoping that day to go home. And still can't touch your mother, only kisses is blown. To see her smirk on that guard had me feeling a mess. And that smile on that judge had me feeling like death. Mom asked if you okay, I used to nod and say yes. To put a smile on her face, that feeling's the best. Taking little steps as I head back to the cell. Part of the system, feeling like I'm living in hell. Damn. Hell. That's how it felt. You know, at this time, things ain't get better for me. It only got worse. Yes, it did. But I want y'all to understand something, all right? Go ahead. Transferred from Hartford detention, too many fights, plus the jail was overpopulated, too many nights. Started acting like them young kids I once didn't like. Became a product of my environment, a fact of life. Started running up in cells and taking a commissary, leaving with TVs, tapes, and CDs. Betting on sports games, losing and not paying. Betting on spades games, losing and start banging. Sent to another detention, that was different, cause they ain't really rock with people from my district. Very first day, fought, they got the best of me. 3 days later, fought, gave them the business. On the 5th day, got jumped in the kitchen. And within 1 week, we all became cliquish. Residential home was different, a bit calm. I wasn't locked down for 23 and 1. Just couldn't leave the plantation I was on. It was designed to transition you to home. More phone time, visits and furloughs. MYI at 17 years old. Too many tickets, I maxed.
Hey guys, what's up? What's up, Los? What's up, the society? What's up, Trey? Yeah, man, welcome, guys. Welcome. Yeah, we'll have a game for another interview. Today I got DMT. So yeah, that's what's up. So I'm just gonna wait for him, see if he's coming in.
Out from chronic, red jumpsuit, got sent to Northern, taking showers with handcuffs in the morning, shackles on my feet at wreck in the corner, surrounded by gangs, murderers, and lawyers. My cellie had 84 years and he was innocent. He took the blame for his little brother and had to live with it. And not one night he complained about doing it. The crazy thing about all this, at the end of it, he ain't do it. Even his little brother was innocent. Damn. True story. Hold your head, Horn. Pardon me. Mother's pain. Son, I want to get off my chest. The system's not broken, it's working just how they want it. It's bigger than race, we dealing with economics. You playing for fame or change.
Okay.
He's around.
My guy.
T, how's it?
My guy, how you doing?
I'm good, and you, man?
Good, man.
Great. Welcome to Hip Hop Nation TV South Africa.
Absolutely, I appreciate you doing your thing out there, building
Thanks,
building a platform for the culture Respect.
True that, true that, true that, true that.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. I
Yeah,
love what you
man.
do.
Absolutely.
But yo, man, just introduce yourself, man, to everyone that's gonna be watching.
Yeah, so my name is DMTS. My company is DMTS Network. DMTS is an acronym for um, determination, motivation, sacrifice. I mean transformation and sacrifice. So that's kind of like my brand. That what I built my brand based off of, and it's also my name. Like if a lot of people do their research, they'll find that DMTS stands for like my full like government name, which is Devon Maurice Tanksley Senior. Um, so yeah, I come from Connecticut. I'm out here in the United States. I'm in Connecticut, and I've been doing music all my life. Um, Entrepreneur. I own a couple businesses out here in Connecticut. A restaurant. You can look it up. It's called My Wife Didn't Cook. It's an amazing name for a restaurant because it
Uh,
attracted so much press and so much name and so much people. But the name of the restaurant is called My Wife Didn't Cook. The website is mywifedidn'tcook.info. I also own a youth program for the kids. My passion was always basketball growing up. So I wanted to give kids that outlet. So I created a youth mentoring program. So we service young kids in the community, boys and girls. That's called the Legacy Foundation. And I run, like I said, DMTS Network is my brand, and I'm a writer. I'm a writer and an author of 2 books. My first book is called A Mother's Pain, which I wrote in 2015. The second book is called Pain, Guilt, and Success, what I wrote in 2008. It's just basically life experiences, what we go through out here in our communities and stuff, and I put it in the form of art, and just try to inspire people, try to give people a view of life, of hardship, and also inspiration. And yeah, man, so that's basically a little bit about me, and I kind of put music away, for a little while, a few years back, when I was in my writing zone, in my building zone, taking care of family, trying to see which direction I wanted to go. I kind of put music just aside for a little while, and then I've gained so much experience, so much knowledge, so much information I came across, and now I felt like at this time, a point in my life where it's time to basically take that information and that experience and just put it in the form of art and just create content and music and just share it with the world. And I appreciate you, for reaching out, and also just the community out there in South Africa, because my Instagram for the past like 8 months, I've created like a
yeah,
fan base around South Africa. Like I know that song, The System. I know you probably heard it, but
yeah,
that
yeah.
song, The System, they really support that, and I see the translation through the streams. Like I could see South Africa data of my streams like going up. So I know for a fact that that the love is real out there in South Africa, and I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it.
For sure, for sure. Much love. Because yeah, man, that song is something I could relate to.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm sure many of us even here at home. I think like um the entire continent like can relate to it, and many even other blacks like in the diaspora. I
Yeah.
think they can relate to it
Yeah.
because it seems like we are fighting the same enemy. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
But tell
Absolutely.
me, like, you know, like you mentioned, like, you come from an environment of poverty and violence. How was that like? Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's like, you know how like a lot of people we come from these neighborhoods where we share the same stories and the same um, you know, struggles that we go through. And, everyone's struggle could be different. I could tell you from now, like, our struggle out here in Connecticut could be different from a struggle out there in South Africa, but we share the same struggle. It's pain, it's pain. We go through pain. So it's a point where I was born in the 80s, right when crack cocaine hit the streets out here, and it was damaging to our communities. It was damaging to our parents. It was damaging to our fathers. you know it was a time where DCF was just going in our homes taking kids away. Like I've seen my friends get snatched up by DCF and the police and taken away to another home. You know, I seen some of my best friends, you know, get killed. You know, I seen people get taken away and sent to prison for 10 years, 15 years. You know, our mothers was addicted to crack cocaine. They couldn't kick the habit. And we were just stuck in this box, you know, of this project where violence was just around us, fighting, you know, drugs, guns, needles, you know, addiction. So it's like when you come up, and I tell people this a lot of times, when you grow up and this is all you see, it takes a toll on a young kid's mind, and we start to imitate that through violence. So now, like I explained this to somebody before, I said it was a time where people will walk through our neighborhoods, like walk through the projects, and we want to fight them. We want to beat them up. And I say to myself, while I'm older, and I go, why? Because we were going through so much pain, we wanted other people to feel that pain, you know, and this is what we go through now in life. When you got this black on black crime and we fighting each other and we killing each other, all it is we're expressing pain in the wrong way. We all feel pain, but we all pushing it on someone else. And that's where the gun violence come in, the stabbing, the killing, the selling drugs, us going to prison. So that environment kind of like changed my life. And when I was 11 years old, I was sent to juvenile detention. I was sent to jail at 11 years old. So it also opened up my mind, like, damn, like I really like I really like, and I'm in a place that I don't know nobody. Everybody's away from their parents and families. The COs don't care about us. The judges don't care about us. And no one, my parents is struggling and crying just like I am. And I'm 11 years old. So when I experienced that, it kind of like turned me more. I wouldn't say made it worse, but kind of like made me feel like, all right, so if this is the worst thing that can happen to me at 11 years old, when I get home, I'm going to just continue. I'm going to continue. I'm going to make it worse. You know, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to sell drugs and I'm going to try to, you know, make money and I'm going to rob and I'm going to steal and that's the wrong direction to go. But when you ain't got no mentors to tell you like, nah, youngin, that's not the right way to go. You know, it's tough. It's hard. So all that, you know, and I say that to say this, you know, growing up now, looking at these young kids in my neighborhood, it makes me say, I understand them. Not that it's okay that they're continuing what they're doing, but I understand them. And by me understanding them, now I can reach them. You know, they'll listen to me because they'll say, you know what? D actually been down that road. He actually was in prison. You know, he actually went through the juvenile detention system, Northern CI. You know, he sold drugs. He was afflicted with violence and all that. So let me sit down and listen to them as opposed to going to school or a teacher that don't even look like them, trying to tell them that this is the direction they should go or this is the thing that they should do. You know, I feel like that connection that I have, and that's why I'm using my story and my vision to actually uplift communities and people that's around me. You know, I feel.
Yo, D. D, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It kind of broke up a little bit.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like
yeah.
also for sure. So like I also wanted to know, like, I mean, when you were in prison, how was that experience? And like, what was that thing that made you want to change, and that made you say like, this is enough. You can't live this kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, man, what it was is it was number one, it was my kids. You know, at this time, you know, I was in prison and my son was born when he was 2. So the first time I seen my first son, he was 2 years old. So that took a toll on me. And then the first time I seen my second son, he was 18 months. So that took a toll on me. So now I'm like, damn, I'm continuing this cycle where there's a possibility that my kids is going to follow this same cycle if I don't change. And then I also said that if I go back home, the only thing that's going to happen is I'm going to follow the same footsteps that my dad keep following, and nobody's breaking the cycle. My uncle keep following, you know, the big homies in the projects, my cousins, my friends, everybody is going through this cycle. And I was able to snap out of it, you know. And I think literally it was the grace of God for me to really like snap out of it, because I could have came home and just continued. You know, I could continue that cycle and just been lost. But it was the grace of God, man, that allowed me to really like just see. And I don't mean the grace of God in the sense of like I went to church. I'm saying just me having the energy that I was projecting to the universe and to the world, that there is something better out there. And I think that's what life is. Like, you know, I projected that energy when I was in jail. Like, you know what? When I come home, I'm gonna change my life. Like, I don't care. When I come home, I'm gonna do better. When I come home, I'm gonna do this. And then I set a plan to do that. So when I came home and the temptation, which is always gonna come to you, but in the temptation hit you, it was more, I was stronger. So when my friends was like, nah, man, come on, man. We got these, you know, you can sell these bags. I was like, nah, man, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to do that. I'm straight. And they was like, oh, you'll be back, man. Don't worry, you'll be back. And after time, 2 weeks, a month, a year, then they realized like, damn, D's serious. And then that's when they started respecting me and saying, you know what? I respect what he's doing at the end of the day, because he, you know, he changed his life. He's serious. And in prison, man, you know, when you're 11 years old in prison, these kids are all suffering. Like, I go back to pain. These kids are all suffering from pain. So like, I'll tell you a story, like, so you can kind of get a visual, right? So in juvenile detention, they hold about 150 kids, right? And these cells have about 4 to 6 people in the cells. So it's not like a 2-cell like you see on TV. Like, these were more like, you know, it was like a room with like 3 bunk beds, and 6 people would be in these rooms. So at 11 years old, between 11 and 15 years old, you could be in a room with, you know, and that's a big difference when you're 11 and there's a 15-year-old. So my first time there, they were taking my food, and this is what they do. Like, they take your food, they take your shoes, you know, and if you want to fight, you can fight, you know. There's sometimes there's cliques, there's groups where they're just going to jump you, they're going to beat you. And I talk about that in one of my songs. You were just playing A Mother's Pain, when I talked about the very first day they fought, they got the best of me. It's because they're affected with this pain. They're going through the same pain, so they're just putting it on whoever that they don't know. I don't care about you. I don't know who you are, so I'm gonna give you pain because I'm going through pain. So they'll take your food. There's times where in the mornings that I didn't eat. You know, they take your breakfast, because breakfast and lunch was the main thing you ate in your room, and then dinner was outside your room. And then after a couple of weeks, I said to myself, you know what? I'm not no punk. Like, I know there's a lot of them, but I ain't no punk, and I'm gonna eat my food. So there was one morning where the food came in, and I told the guys, I said, yo, don't touch my food. Now I'm 11, and there's 4 of them that's in there that's 13, 14, and 15. So they're way bigger than me. I'm a little skinny kid, you know? So I'm like, I'm eating my food, and they like, listen, you touch your food, you already know what it is. So as soon as they came in, I started eating my food. They walked up on me. I threw the plate right in their face, and I started fighting all of them. And then the SEALs came in. They grabbed me out of it. And from that day on, I went to another cell, and nobody ever, you know, touched my food. But that was the beginning of me standing up for myself. But it was also like the beginning of me following suit and inflicting pain on other people. Because what happened was, I started becoming that person. I became a product of my environment. I started taking food from young kids that was coming in there. I look at it now and I go, damn, like, but when you're in that environment and you're in that situation, it's like, this is what we do. So people was coming in and I was taking their food now, man. And I was, you know, and I was taking their shoes and their clothes, and I've been going through that from 11 to 12, juvenile detention, NYI, Cheshire, all the way up to like 19 years old. Until like 19, I started to be around older people that was in prison that was kind of directing me different. And it was like, nah, youngin, like we do our time over here. This is what we do over here. You know, you ain't got to worry about that. You ain't got to do that. And then my mind started changing, because I started being around older people, as opposed to when you're young. And so just imagine a whole bunch of kids in one room with no direction and nobody to talk to. It's just a whole bunch of fights and stuff, you know? But the older dudes started telling me like, nah, you ain't got to go that direction, homie. We take care of each other, you know? And that's where I started growing up, and I started saying, you know what? I don't gotta act like that no more. And then wisdom started kicking in, knowledge started kicking in. I started picking up the books. I started, you know, really thinking about life. So when I came home, I put all that behind me, and I haven't been to jail since, man.
Wow, that's powerful, man.
So, plus, I mean, like you've mentioned that you've created a program for young people in the community. So, like, tell us specifically, like, how did you do that? Um, who are the people that helped you into
Yeah,
creating
the
those
the
programs?
program, right?
Yeah,
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 yeah. So I basically just said to myself, like we need a program. We need a because you know the Boys and Girls Club. Everybody know the Boys and Girls Club, right? We got the
yeah, yeah,
YMCA. We got those corporations, but they
yeah,
don't really care about the well-being of us black and brown kids. They just
yeah,
care. They'll set up a program. They set up a league. They take your money and keep it moving. I wanted a
yeah,
program where I can take these kids and make sure that their grades is right before they can play. Make sure that they're
yeah,
respecting their parents and their mom before they can play. Get them
yeah,
off the streets. Make sure that they're in a safe place, and also mentor them and guide them and train them and make them better players and better kids. And that was my vision. So I started New Britain Legacies in 2016, and it's a blessing that right now we're still going strong, and the program's just growing. It's just growing. It's growing. So it was more of a passion of mine, loving basketball, and then saying to myself, I didn't make it to college like I wanted to. I didn't play college ball or high school ball because I was in too much trouble. But now let me give these other kids the opportunity to do that, and that's why that platform was created, and that's what it's doing right now. And it wasn't easy in the beginning. In the beginning it wasn't easy, but now we've built that momentum, and we've raised the money we were supposed to raise, and we invested what we were supposed to invest in, and now we done sent kids to college, and some of the kids come back and they're mentors to the younger kids. We service kids all the way to like kindergarten. And some of the high school kids that come back and they'll service these kids. Volunteer, mentor them, and I think that's priceless, right? Because
yeah.
I couldn't make it, so I gave it to another kid, and another kid came back and gave it to another kid. That's generational wealth. That's that's
True.
that's that's generational wisdom. That's generational guidance. That's generational knowledge. That's passing the torch. So so that program is like I'm very, very passionate about that program. Like, and I'm gonna continue to build that because I want to touch kids all over the country, not just Connecticut.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like, what do you think, like, the community also should contribute? How do you think the community should also contribute in building the youth as well?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we get caught up in just investment, like, oh,
Yeah,
we need money, but a lot of times it's not all about just money. If you're an individual, or if you're an uncle or a father, or anyone, you can be a mentor to a kid. You can guide a kid in the right direction just by giving him some good advice, and it could change his whole mentality. He could be on the way to go fight or to go bust his gun or something, and you could say one thing that touched that kid's heart. I would tell you one thing that I say is that us as human beings, how you doing? Us as human beings, we're connected. We're all connected. We're all one. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what race you are. Whatever. We're all one. You're right. You're right. She said we all connected. She said it's that
truly,
energy.
truly.
So so
Yeah,
so we're
yeah,
we're all one, right? So what I would say is, if you want to help change the world, right? Change yourself. Change the way you
true.
think. Change the way you act. Change the way you interact. Because think of a ocean, right? And you
Yeah,
take a little rock or a little pebble, right? And you throw it in the
yeah,
ocean. It's going to riffle. It's going to riffle. And eventually it's going to riffle all the way out. There was a time when last year when George Floyd was murdered by the police, and the
true.
whole world, the whole
Affect.
world felt it. How
Yeah,
can how can the whole world feel something? Why? Is because when the human being sees another human being that bleeds like them, that breathes like them, that lives like them, they it hurts them. It's someone, I don't care if you don't know them, if you're not related, it makes you say, yo, that can be me, or that can be my son. So it made the whole world shut down. Like, everybody was going crazy. And that's a living proof that we're all connected. Like we all belong to the universe. We all connected to nature. So if you want to change the world, you don't got to get on the rooftop and tell people, and yell at the rooftop. You don't got to do that because we're creatures of vibration. So all you have to do is change your vibration. Start to say good morning to people instead of walking by people in the grocery store, or instead of walking by people in the neighborhood in the streets. We don't even stop no more just because we don't know nobody. We don't say good morning. We don't say hi. We don't say how you doing. There's a time where I walked up to someone and I just asked him, hey, how's it going? And he looked at me and he was like, you know what? I've been having a bad day. And by the way, thank you for that. Because now I feel kind of good, and you just never know what people going through. Like you can speak to people. So what I would say, if you want to what people can do to change their communities and their environments, if they don't have the funding or the money to build these platforms yet, I just say, start with yourself. Start with yourself, and give off good energy, give off positive energy. And I think that will ripple effect, and it'll make a change in the community, and people will start to change their lives. And once everybody starts to change, then what happens? The community changes. Then after the community changes, your state changes. And after your state changes, your country changes. And after the country changes, the world changes. And that's how you change the world, one person at a time, but start with yourself.
True. Plus, you also mentioned you also started your own entrepreneurial journey, your businesses. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So I own a restaurant. I was telling you, called My Wife Didn't Cook. I'm actually outside. I'm gonna show you.
Oh.
So we close in 20.
Beautiful.
We close in 20 minutes, but this is the restaurant.
Good. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Guys, support, guys. Everyone in the US, support, guys.
Yeah, it's called My Wife Didn't Cook. I'll let you see through the window real quick.
This is beautiful, man. Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So that's my, that's my establishment, and it's another platform. Not only do we provide great food or high quality food, but it's a platform to create jobs in the community. It's a platform to inspire people in the community so they can go out there and create their ventures and do their things. So entrepreneurship is just another thing that I'm real passionate about. I'm not a type of person to be stuck to one thing.
True.
I feel like my purpose in life is just to use my life experiences and my pain that I've been through and share it with the world to help inspire and change their lives. Yeah, man, business, books, and like I said, I've been doing this probably I started my actual first book and my journey to what I'm doing now probably in 2012. So it takes time. Like I remember listening to Rick Ross and Jay-Z and Michael Jackson, and in their interviews, they would say that a lot of people want to see the end result and mimic that, but they don't know the work that they put in. You don't know how much hours it took and how many days and years it took to see a star and be like, yo, that's amazing, or that business is, it takes blood, sweat, and tears. It takes a lot of time, a lot of years. So you see me now, and I put 10 years in, but I got another 10 years to go to get to the top. Like I need people around the world to know who I am. I'm trying to make history. I'm trying to make history, and I'm trying to change kids' lives. I'm trying to change people's lives so they can live better than how we live in this generation. One thing I tell people is that the worst thing that we can do is live a life, die, and the next generation can't benefit from nothing you did by living. There's no purpose.
True.
What you just lived for what? If you live a life, you 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old, and you die, and you didn't impact not one person, it's a waste of life. You live your life, you didn't waste you live your life, but it's a waste of life because I don't feel that that's the purpose of life. I feel that the purpose of life is to be placed wherever God places you in the universe, and to find your God-given talent, no matter if it's teaching. If you want to be a teacher, I believe that talent is no less than someone who want to be an artist, So whatever your God gift is, I believe that you need to find out what it is, and you need to take that gift and you need to share it with the world. Like, and don't, it doesn't matter if you're scared or if you're affected by fear, or, you know, if you're hesitant, because if you're hesitant or you fear something, that just means it's for you. You know, if if you say, for instance, you want to start a business and you're scared, you're like, oh my God, I really want to do this, but I'm scared. That really want to do this should overpower that fear, because that means that it's for you. And that's what happened with me. I really wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I was scared. I was like, damn it, if there's how I'm gonna get the money, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do that, I don't know how I'm gonna get this, nobody's gonna support me. And then I said to myself, at the end of the day, it's not about everybody else, it's about me. I want to do it. So whether they gravitate or not, I'm gonna do it. And that's what I think people should do. Just feel whatever you feel you want to do it. Because there's so many billions of people in the world. Some of them, like I always tell people, some people like McDonald's, some people like Burger King. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people like white, some people like black. You know, some people like white chocolate, some people like black chocolate. It's just, it's everybody's not gonna like one thing. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
I think that, you know, as long as people just have that vision and that passion of what they want to do, forget about what everybody else say. Like you, look at you.
True.
You took your shot. You reached out to me, right?
For sure.
You reached out to me, right? And I said, oh, hell
sure.
yeah. I don't care if you got 100,000 followers or if you got one follower. It ain't about that social media shit. It's about connecting with another human being. You get what I'm saying? So I'm connecting with another human being, my brother from South Africa, that wanted me on his platform. I got time, or I can make time, I'm all for it. So if everybody do that and leave that social media shit alone, talking about, you know, how many followers he got, what's his platform like, if he got a blue check or a gray check, like fuck all that. Yeah. Like, is he passionate about what he's doing? You know, let's make that connection. Let's build that network. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate what you're doing too, man, because you took that step out there to build a platform. And I guarantee you, if you keep it going, you're going to be the biggest platform in South Africa. You feel me?
For sure. Appreciate that, brother.
Definitely, man.
Yes, man. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
so, like,
man.
I mean, like, plus, I mean, you doing your own music. You started like your own EP from poverty to consciousness.
Yeah.
What inspired you to create that project? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I wanted to give the people just something to hold on to while I'm actually building more content. And I just felt that those 7 tracks, like, you can listen to those 7 tracks and know my story. And know my story. Yeah. Like, you know, like I give you a walkthrough of when I was young. I talk about some of my lyrics. You know, I talk about my parents. I talk a little bit about consciousness. And I just wanted to give someone something that they can take and say, you know what, this is valuable. It's valuable information. And while I'm working on my new project, that was something just to hold them off. But from poverty to prodigy, you know, it definitely was a piece of content to just express myself on how consciousness, you know, connects people. Like I spoke about before, about energy, how consciousness connects people and energy connects people. And we're all connected. Like, there's no difference between like a tree and the human hand. There's no difference.
True.
It's nature.
True.
The only difference is a tree has to be a tree, but it serves its purpose. The sun and the moon, it has to be the sun and the moon, but it serves its purpose. Human beings are the only creatures in the world that can be whatever we want to be. We're the only creatures in the world that can be whatever we want to be. You want to be a doctor, and you put the time in, you could be a doctor. You want to be a lawyer, you could be a lawyer. You want to be an artist, you could be an artist. You want to be a writer, you could be a writer. You want to be a father, you could be a father. Whatever you want to be, you can be. Like, human beings has that ability. So in that project, I wanted to let people know, like, listen, from poverty to consciousness, use our minds, use our thoughts, use our energy to create life, to create whatever you want in the world, and it can happen. You know, and I always tell people, don't base your life off facts, because what's a fact today is a non-fact tomorrow. Years ago, it was a fact that you couldn't get inside of a metal thing and fly across to another country. That was a fact. Somebody look at you and be like, You ain't flying nowhere. Now, it's not a fact. You can actually get on an airplane and fly to another country. So don't get caught up in somebody saying, oh, you can't do that. Oh, it's a fact. Look at it, read right here. You can't do that. You can't do that. Nah, there's no facts in the world. Nothing is a fact. Everything in the world is possible because history has showed us that it's possible. What's a fact today is not a fact tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? You know, so so the biggest thing I would say about my project, about the EP, is that I expressed consciousness and I expressed energy. And if you believe in consciousness and energy and life, you can create your whole world. You create your whole universe. You know, shout out to my big homie right there. You know, one of my big homies tapping in from the neighborhood. But yeah, man. So that project, I know you probably listened to the whole body of work of it, but that project right there is very important because I just wanted to elevate the minds of people. I wanted people to just really like tap in and know that, you know, as minorities, where we come from, the only difference between us and other neighborhoods is that when we walk out of our houses, we see needles on the ground. We see where there's gunshots up there on the street. You know, there's people getting beat up and shot. And then we say to ourselves, like, what else are we supposed to think about? As opposed to, like, one of my friends told me, one of my white friends, he told me, and he's the one who explained this. He said, and I feel bad. He said, because he said, I step out of my house and my next door neighbor is an electrician. My dad's friend is a plumber. My uncle is a lawyer. So he's surrounded by success. He's surrounded by success. So it's easier for him to say, you know what? I want to do this for my life, or I want to do this, as opposed to someone like me. I'm stuck in this box. So all the people to look up to is the ones who's making money, the ones who's selling drugs, the ones who's gang banging. My father in jail, my mom's on cocaine. Like, it's like we live through this shit, and then we grow up, and people say to us, "Well, you can change your life, or you can do this, or why you not?" Nah, it's not that easy. It's not that easy because subconsciously it affects our mental. It's in our DNA. You know, there was a time where I tell people right now that there was a time where we would get murdered during slavery if we got caught reading. You know how crazy that sounds? Think about it, right?
Yeah.
If they caught our parents reading or caught us reading, they would kill us. They would hang us. So it's in our DNA now to not pick up a book. That's why they say now to people, they say, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. You heard about that? Heard that saying? You want to hide something from a black person, put it in the book. And they say that now, but not realizing that it's because our DNA, we didn't pick up books, because back then when we picked up a book, our parents was lynched. So we stayed away from wisdom and knowledge and information. Now we living in a day of information, wisdom, and knowledge, and they fear us. And they should. But they shouldn't fear us to come back and turn on them. They should just fear us because we're going to be the people that we were destined to be back then, and y'all ain't let us be. Now we about to be that people, and now you see a lot of black ownership, a lot of black businesses, a lot of black companies. People is elevating because consciousness is changing the universe. Everybody's saying, I don't care if you white or black, like, you're human. You bleed like I bleed. You bleed like I bleed. You sleep like I sleep. You live how I live. And that's where the world is coming to. And that's what's going to change the world, man. Energy. And that's why that project that I created, you know, from poverty to consciousness, it's all about the mind. It's elevating our minds. You know?
True that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what inspired songs like The System, you know what I'm saying? Like what you're saying right now, right?
Yeah, The System, man. I love that song, man. I listened to that song a lot too, man. That song is like probably like a year old, but it's so much content in there. It's like those lyrics can't get old. You know, those lyrics can't get old. You know, I started that song with, the system's not broke, it's working just how they want it. It's bigger than race. We dealing with economics. Like, and the reason why I started it with that line is that it's bigger than race. We dealing with economics is because when they killed George Floyd, right, and he had his knee on his neck, right?
Yep.
Have you ever seen a police officer shoot or choke a Chinese kid?
No.
A Jewish kid?
Nope.
A Japanese kid?
Nope.
Anyone with economic connections and power, you have never seen a police officer go out their way and do that. But they do it to the black community. Why? Because we don't have no economic power. We don't have wealth. We don't have banks. We don't own, there's politics. It's so crazy. It's like, oh, another black kid, it's okay. And they get a slap on the wrist. But that's why I said in that song that let a Chinese kid get choked on the sidewalk. You think we in debt now? Welcome to China. Let a Chinese kid get choked by a police officer. The whole Chinese army would be in the United States. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's
the whole triad gang.
Yeah, it's bigger than race. It's bigger than race. It's economics. It's connections. It's people who know people who's like, that's not gonna happen. I read a story in New York where there was Spanish and black cops, and they were saying that they were forced to go out in New York City in the streets and only target minority kids. And one of the cops said, he asked the sergeant, like, why we just can't target any kid who's just doing wrong? He said, because if you target the wrong kid, there's going to be a phone call from the mayor's office to the police department, and we don't got time to deal with that. Literally just like that. So I know for a fact that it's economic power. It has nothing to do with black and white. It's economic power. And that's why I'm on this journey to build businesses, to build programs, to create wealth, because not only for my kids, but I'll be damned if my grandkids and their friends and their grandkids live in the world that we're living in today, and I was in this world and I had something to do with it and I couldn't fix it, I'll be damned. So that's why I go as hard as I go. And a lot of people like right now, like that's tapped into this interview, they come from where I come from. They come from the same very neighborhood where I come from, the same environment. So I'm speaking my truth, but I'm speaking all of our truth. That's where all of us come from. And from you tapping in from South Africa, I know it ain't easy out there. I know it ain't easy. True. You know what I'm saying? I know it ain't easy. Yep. We all go through struggles and pain. And that's why I'm glad that you reached out to make this connection, because it's very important to share each other's stories, Very important.
For sure.
Definitely.
So from now, are you planning anything in terms of any events with your programs or any music coming in?
Yeah, so I'll give you a quick update, right? So for my program, we're turning it into a small prep school. So now we started off as a program. Now we're actually going to be a basketball prep school where we're going to be showcasing D1 and D2 colleges to these players, to these colleges. That's a big thing. And we're going to be educating these kids. We actually bought a school program. So it's going to be an online course, and we're taking kids from 9th grade all the way to 12th grade. So that's a big step. And also, too, I'm working on a new project, for a new album I'm working on. And also, too, my restaurant, we're in year 4. Like I said, we're in year 4, and we're looking to continue to build that platform. And
OD. Sound.
Yeah, I broke up.
Can you
hear me now? You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Somebody was calling me. I tried to take the phone off. But what I was saying is, just to backtrack, as I was saying, is that people travel like almost 2 hours to come to my restaurant and visit for the experience that we give them. And then I'm talking from I'm in Connecticut, so 2-hour drive, New York City, Boston. They came from Philly, Atlanta, and truck drivers, everybody. So we just want to keep building that platform, because as we grow, what I want people to know and the community to know is that we're not a selfish company, and I'm not a selfish person. So my whole vision is, if I succeed, you succeed. If my wife didn't cook becomes a multi-million-dollar restaurant, then guess what? That means more funds for programs. That means more businesses that I'm going to create and create more jobs, and we can help elevate the culture together. So for people out there, just to know is that, every dollar you spend in my organization, it goes back into the people and back into the community,
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Before you leave us, my brother, like, is there like other social media handles where people can reach you?
Yeah,
Just to
yeah.
maybe.
So you can reach me on Facebook, DMTS Network, Instagram. If you go to Instagram DMTS Network and just click the link in the bio, it'll pull up all the platforms that I'm on, and it'll pull up all
Yeah.
my information, all my websites, everything. But yeah, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm mainly active on Instagram. Um, but if, like I said, if you go to Instagram and you click that link, it'll give you like the whole spiel and the whole story.
Wow, that's amazing. So I guess if you do have flyers, then we'll share it here because that's what we usually do with every
Oh,
guest
bet.
that comes. Then you'll let us know that.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure.
You good?
Yeah,
You
but
good?
before you leave us, right? Since you
Yeah.
say you got something new that's coming, could you please give us like a 16 bar just as a sample, just for us to
Oh,
know what you got?
a little, a little sample.
Yeah,
A little sample. Let me see. Let me see. Cause I like so far, I probably wrote like 7 songs so far.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
let me see what I could give you real quick. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of things. I actually all right, I'll give you a little taste of something else I was working on. It's like one of our remixes, right? I
For sure.
said the most beautiful things is not the watches and chains. It's the beauty you see in material things. It's the things you can't touch and the things you can't hold. Take the lessons from me or take the lessons from Hove. Take the teachings from Kendrick, Ricky Ross, or Cole. The 50th law is like a book full of gold. So think and grow rich. This is food for the soul. But see, that's some of the things they don't want you to know. They don't want you to learn or even want you to grow. You see, I want you to know because you one of my own. Be yourself, be great, be on top of the globe. But always remember, hate is part of the road. Because first they hate you, then they love you, then they hate you again. So take the good with the bad, happy with the sad. Some raised by their mom, some by their dad. Some got both
Mm.
parents, some got none. But as long as you got you already won. You the one.
Woo, it's powerful, man.
You feel
Yo,
me?
brother, I appreciate.
Yes.
Yo, this was like a powerful interview. I've learned a lot from you.
Nah, thank you, man. I
Um,
enjoyed it. I enjoyed
I'm
myself.
inspired, yeah, I'm out of words, my brother.
Absolutely, man. Keep it up.
Appreciate you, man.
We'll have
Yeah,
another
man. I wish
update.
you
We'll have another update
a
soon,
lot.
all right?
Definitely, 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 man.
All right,
Definitely,
man.
we'll keep in touch.
Yes, keep
For
doing your
sure, for
thing,
sure.
my guy.
Thank you so much, my
All
brother.
right.
I appreciate your support.
South Africa, I love y'all. I'll be there soon.
Peace,
Don't worry.
peace. Shout out, Hartford.
Yes, yes.
Peace.
Take care.
Much love. For sure. Oh, guys, as you know, we always bring up amazing interviews here at home. So yeah, shout out. My name is Piro, aka Cliptic. So yeah, you can also check my other Instagram account, Cliptic, so you can get my music there also as well. For those that are not aware that I'm an artist as well. Thanks guys for watching. Oh, VJ, welcome, welcome. Well, you just got in now, but okay, don't worry. You'll get to see the whole interview once I'm done uploading everything. So yeah, guys, you can find us on Buzzsprout, you can find us on Podbean, you can find us on YouTube. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Yeah, peace. I'm out. But let me just leave you with some music as I go.
And a few dollars, they playing for your master's name and all the power. Whoever controls the land controls the people. Until we the people start acting like Vito. Let's build an empire together and start the veto. All that dumb shit they propose about Guido without us being present. No seat at the table. They got us at the door, trying to see through the peephole. They say if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. It's messed up, but it's true. We have to read more, can't focus on just the booth. Writing rhymes is cool, but study the business too. We have kids now, can't focus on just you. Some might not see the vision, but that's cool. As long as I inspire a generation of youth, create a different path for them, something new. Mothers left to raise girls and boys too. They bagging up weed, getting high before school. Trying to cope with their pain and hers too. No jobs, more prisons, less schools, but go hard, more driving, less moves. You gotta get straight to the point, like a basket. Set a bunch of goals and follow them with action. Don't quit, stay focused, plus passion. Dough rich, little spending, more stacking. This the blueprint to wealth without a question. 12 trying to choke us out, you get the message? Bullets don't got no name, count your blessings. Crime rate is rising, Chicago is through the roof. Detroit, Michigan, LA, and Newark too. CT getting worse by the day without a clue. Heartbeat number 1, Waterbury is number 2. Followed by the port, New Haven, I'm so confused. We need to get a grip on things or we gon' lose. Put the game back in the box and read the rules. Then take it back out the box and make a move. Education is freedom. You know knowledge is power. Unity is the answer. No matter race or color. Placed here on this earth to be great together. Everything is connected. Energy is a weapon. Plus the mind and human body soul is so epic. But we were never taught the way the mind functions. Powered by the conscious and the subconscious. Thought shape reality. Only limitation is us. Don't think hourly or salary. Think ownership, business, and opportunity. Every machine operates off of unity. That's why it's very important now for you and me to make sure our dollar circulates more than 4 weeks. Right now it's 4 hours. This shit is so deep. I ran as an independent for the love of it. I'm not a Democrat or Republican, but I work